It's like a hearse, you die to get in again.
Yeah! Alright. I'm just gonna lay down like this because it's so much more fun. This week's episode is on comedy. Since I have an insane love for comedy. Well, insane is probably my choice of words. But I have quite a love for comedy. So, this week is going to be on comedy. I don't think I have a lot of Canadian and American comedy shows I like. They're mostly British shows. Quite a few older British shows. I don't think I actually watched a lot of modern stuff. They're probably semi-modern. Actually, no, a lot of stuff I watch is old. Because MASH is old. Some people are amazed I have even heard of MASH. Which makes sense because I think one of my English teachers heard of it and I was just like, it's a great show. More people should watch it. But anyways, so all the comedy shows I like are Cunner Gas, which I'm pretty sure is a Canadian comedy show, which is 6 seasons, I think. They're pretty good. About a guy who runs a gas station, and there's a restaurant attached to it. I'm gonna say cafe, but it's a restaurant. And it's about all the people there. And then next, the two main other comedies, well, main American comedies, would be Friends and MASH. Friends is 10 seasons, and is obviously about a group of 6 friends, which is really good too. They're so funny. I make a lot of Friends quotes during the day, which most people don't get unless I watch Friends. And MASH, obviously, that's 11 seasons. Oh, it's a long show. It's pretty good though. I enjoy it greatly. And then there's a lot of British comedies. There's Are You Being Served, which is about a bunch of people that run a department store, which goes from a men's department store and a women's department store together, because it used to be they were on 2 separate floors. Then they were combined, and it's just so funny, the mixing, because the guys are like, we don't want the women here. And there's this huge problem with seniority? I think that's the word. Because you're supposed to like treat the seniors better, and there are a few younger people that come in, and they don't treat them very well. They're like, I respect you because you're older, but at the same time, I don't. And it's really funny watching them go through a whole bunch of stuff because they also get underpaid, really cheap wages, and it's just ridiculous stuff to try to get sales up. And then Open All Hours is another one, which is about a grocery general store, I guess. And the guy is so cheap, but everything he sells is really expensive. And he makes his orphan nephew, do a whole bunch of hard labor stuff. And they have some pretty funny things because the guy has a stutter, and he wasn't supposed to have a stutter, but the actor gave him a stutter. I think he's played by Ronnie Barker. And so there's this one time he's talking about where you can go wrong with your life. Going to prison and getting a higher education. And he doesn't know which is worse, and then he's trying to say like BBC Two, but he keeps going beep 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 beep, and Granville, his nephew, is like, it's no good, you know I don't understand Morse code. And I'm like, way to go. That is such a zing at his uncle. It was so funny. I love that show. It's 4 discs, which is pretty much 4 seasons, I guess, for them. Oh, the Are You Being Served has 12 discs, season things, I guess. And after Open All Hours is Porridge. I haven't seen all of Porridge. My mom really likes that show, and it seems really good from the little bits I've seen. It's got Ronnie Barker in it again, and he's in jail, and he always he always plays tricks. He always plays tricks on like the guards and a whole bunch of other stuff to like get his way for stuff. Like the one episode I saw, they're all sent out to dig, I think, latrines or something, and he tricks the police person watching him, and he goes to the bar and gets a drink and eats some crisps, and then I think it's the head guy at the prison shows up, so he has to like sneak out and get back before he gets back, and oh, it's so funny. He gets away with it. It was pretty funny. What other ones are there? Oh, Not the 9 O'Clock News is pretty good. It's got Rowan Atkinson in it, and they make a lot of fun of stuff too. There's a lot of little song things they do, which is really funny. I'm trying to think of all the stuff they do, because it's like a news show, but it's comedic. So they always have really random stuff. Oh, there's one where they're interviewing a guy who was getting gorillas to talk. And they're like, how's the progress going? They've got like the gorilla on the show and everything. And the gorilla is completely and utterly talking, completely and utterly human, like eating a banana, talking like a normal person. And it's so funny because they get in this huge fight. And they end that little skit with the scientist guy, blaming the monkey for eating the daffodils, and he's like, I do not eat daffodils. And he's like, well, somebody don't they? And then there's like a bunch of daffodils on the table. They're like, he bloody does eat daffodils, you know? And they all just look at the daffodils like, what? And it's so funny. I love that show. There's only 2 discs to it though, which is rather unfortunate. But with Rowan Atkinson actually. He does a lot of Blackadder stuff, and obviously Mr. Bean, which is pretty funny. Oh, he's brilliant. And then we have one where he does like a live performance, and those are, oh my gosh, those are such funny skits. I show them to so many people that come over because they're really short. Oh, he's so funny. And the Blackadder skits he does with Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. And I've seen a lot of their stuff because they do a lot of work together. They first started together, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. They started together in college, well, university, but same thing to me. And then I think they did work in stand-up comedy, I guess, making like skits on TV. And that was for 4 seasons. It was just the 2 of them. It was called A Bit of Fry and Laurie, and it's so funny. And then they did Jeeves and Wooster, which is a really rich guy, and his like butler gets him like out of all this trouble and stuff because he's always getting into trouble. So the butler has to find ways to get him out of it. I can't remember. I want to say Jeeves is probably the butler and Wooster's the rich guy, but I know Hugh plays the rich guy and Fry plays the butler. And that goes to Markham and Wise because I like comedians that work together. So that leads me to Markham and Wise, which is a freaking great show. It's really a really old show. They tend to do a lot of musical things, and they do like a comedic twist to it. So they've got the singer doing like the serious song or doing the song, and they do like a bunch of silly, crazy stuff with it. And then there's Monty Python, which has a lot of seasons to that and a bunch of movies. And it's very random, but very funny. Changed the complete view of comedy. And then, oh, there's also Fawlty Towers. Fawlty Towers is funny. It's about a guy who it's with John Cleese. He runs a hotel and he hates it, but it's so funny. And, oh, I believe that's it. All my comedy shows. So next week is all about my number 1s. My number 1 movie, number 1 book,